Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. We also work on comics. We are working on a comic book right now. This one's called Young and the Dead. This is my personal comic book project. This is issue 2. I have issue 1 and 3 also available at my website at serkworks.com. It is a kids versus zombies story in the tradition of Goonies and Monster Squad and E.T. and those type of movies, kind of like Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead. But I am working on issue 4 right now as part of 100 Days of Making Comics, where you spend 30 minutes a day, every day, working on your own personal comic book project. This is a challenge that was started by Kevin Cross, and it just keeps rolling and more people keep getting involved. So if you're thinking about it, maybe you should join too. Now, a while ago, when one of the earlier episodes of this, which is my second round of 100 Days of Making Comics, I talked about some of the tools and some of the books that I use to create comic books, some good kind of book recommendations for if you want to create comics, which you should get. And there's one that I've kind of left out, so I want to do a book recommendation today, and I'll probably do some more of these little book recommendations and let you know about some things like that. Now, I will get to that in just a minute, but we got to do what we always do, and we got to figure out where we are in this challenge. We are at day 37. That's where we currently are in this challenge. And we write that, we get the big Sharpie, we write that on the big notepad just so we can keep track where we are. But back to the book recommendation, and one of the most important things, or one of the things that's most difficult in creating comics, is perspective. And I forgot to mention a book that I have, and this artist I met at a meetup somewhere. It was a while back. I think he used to live in town now. I don't think he does anymore. But his name's Jason Cheeseman-Meyer, and this is his book Vanishing Point. He had some of these, and I looked through it and I quickly said, yeah, I want a copy of this, so I bought this off of him. And it is a really good book on perspective. It's short and sweet, but it gets all the basics and even gets into some really, well, when I say basics, when you're talking about perspective, even the basics can be a little difficult if you're just starting out. But this is a good way to start. Now, hopefully this book's still in print, and I always say if it's still in print, I don't know. Usually you can find books, now with the internet, you can probably find used or whatever, so it shouldn't be hard to track down. If I see it still available, this is a pretty common, I mean, this Impact Printing, they do a lot of art tutorial books, so I'm guessing it's still probably available. But it gets into some really in-depth stuff, even like what they call 5 points perspective, but it's where everything is on like the curvature of the earth, so the buildings kind of skew out and kind of have that curve look to it. And I don't even know if I would attempt it. In some cases I might attempt something like that. You can kind of see here, but I'll just kind of flip through it real quick. But yeah, so that's the 5 point perspective. But that's advanced stuff. Here we got vanishing points and all this stuff you can see here. But this is just a really good in-depth and just straight to the point book on perspective, and I found it really helpful. I don't know if you guys have any recommendations on how to learn perspective. If you do, let me know, because like I said, that is one of the most difficult things to tackle when you're working on a comic book project. And that's why a lot of times people, well, even if you're doing something that takes place out in like the woods or something, a lot of times, even if you have like a little, like somebody comes along, like a kind of traveling salesman in a little cart or something, or certain catapults and things, all that kind of stuff, even if you're out like in a wood type setting, that can come in handy. Perspective is always something, so you don't want to try to just skimp on it. You want to learn it. It's not difficult. I mean, it's not easy, but it's something you got to learn. And this book is an excellent one, and I recommend it. It's called Vanishing Point. Jason Cheeseman-Meyer. Check that out, and if I can remember, I will put a link in the comments section. But we've got to get back to my book, Young and the Dead, so we're going to go right up here to the paralleloscope and see how that's going. We talk a lot about comic book artwork and stuff on this show, so I figured maybe we should switch it up and maybe look at some fine art. So we're here at the Phoenix Art Museum and there's a lot of cool stuff. So, and this is just we just went there for one night real quickly before it was about to close. So we saw a few different things, but I definitely want to go back, and when we get to the end I want to show you. But these are really cool. I was fascinated by these miniatures. There's a whole exhibit of all these miniatures, all by the same artist, and I was just really impressed at how detailed and everything was. And you can kind of see they're all, it's almost like set design, but just imagine all those things are like the size of like pennies and nickels and things like that. So never seen it. I don't know if you guys are as amazed by this as I am. It's kind of hard because you don't see it in real life, but now we're getting into some of the paintings, and man, there's some really nice pieces of artwork. It's cool to be up close, and like there's a Monet. How often do you see that? But yeah, I'm glad we had a chance to do that. But like I said, we were a little rushed. It was closing. We didn't know it was closing, so we kind of got in there for a little bit, but then they're setting up a new exhibit that I am definitely going to go back for. This is I like this sculpture. It's kind of like it's just all wire and wood and stuff, and then of course living in Arizona, you got to have some of the Western art. And that would be cool to have like in your house, that big. But so this is what I was talking about. They're starting a new exhibit. It's a samurai exhibit, and I will definitely be back to see that. And with that, we dive right back into Young and the Dead. Still working on page 1, just roughing out everything. As you can see, I'm kind of laying in this satellite dish. But everything else kind of follows that the grid lines and everything. Still having some of those issues with the perspective rulers, but if you fuss around with it enough, it ends up getting everything, getting the lines down and everything. So I'll probably still do a little bit of rough penciling. So when I'm done with this page, I will probably bring the opacity down quite a bit, print it out, and then I'll go in probably and do some traditional penciling just over the top with some, little, effects and things like that. But it's definitely good for me to get the perspective right, because that's kind of a pain, with the rulers and everything, especially when I'm going to be bringing these original pieces with me to work wherever I am. So it's not always that easy to do that with with just whatever rulers you can bring with you. So that's what I got going on today on the comic, and yeah, pushing along. Okay, we are back and ready to say farewell to day 37. We'll rip that page off our big notepad, crumble it up, toss it in the trash, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 38. Hey everyone, you've seen the process. Now you can check out the story. Issues 1 through 3 of Young and the Dead are available at my website at serkworks.com. Also follow me on social media at the links listed below. Subscribe and check out some of the other videos in the series. There's much more to come.